Hello, hello. As people come in, go ahead and shout out your name and organization in the chat box. It's nice to see people. We will be starting in a few minutes. Let a couple more people come through. Seeing all the faces. Nice. Yes. Oh, wow. I see somebody from Burlington YMCA. I'm seeing in-home and health starts. CYC, Shining Stars Childcare. Kids and Company. Got CFM in here. Shining Stars Childcare. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Waukee, family of YMCA. Got someone from in-home childcare. Wonderful, wonderful. Just a couple of more minutes and then I'll go ahead and get started. We have a fun-filled agenda today.
If you're just hopping on, please take a moment to mute your microphones.
Yes.
Hello?
Hello?
Can you?
Oh. Whoever that was, if they could unmute themselves and then speak.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm watching you on my computer, but I'm listening to you on my home phone.
Okay, that's great.
Is that okay?
Yes.
That's kind of strange. Well, next time I do this, maybe you could teach me how to do this, right? So,
And we will do our best to make sure that your phone gets transferred into a breakout session with your computer image.
I don't know what you mean by that. So.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm gonna go ahead.
And then 2, I have another class at 2. So is that okay that is this going to be over right at 2 or?
We should be. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
I'm going to go ahead and get started.
I'll just listen.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started while people are coming in. Make sure you shout out your name and organization in the chat box. I'm going to go ahead and get started. We have a full agenda for you today.
Teresa, this is Crystal.
Yes.
Sorry, let me do my video. I'm sorry to interrupt. I wanted to say, though, before we got started, this opportunity is available for DHS credit. However, it's a little more cumbersome if you wait until later to register. So I have popped into the chat box the link to be able to do so. If you could take just a quick minute to minimize your screen and do that, let's maybe give people a minute or two to register for DHS credit if they would like. So my apologies.
No problem. That way people will know.
I have no idea how to use this Zoom stuff. Hello?
And we ask that you mute your mics when you come in. Okay. Well, welcome everyone. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the CIOST Re-Imagined. This is a virtual professional development series. Our session for today is family engagement, maintaining relationships while social distancing. I am one of 3 hosts. My name is Teresa Slaughter, and I'm an enrichment coach for SPPG and United Way. I will go ahead and let my other 2 hosts introduce themselves. Go ahead, Mallory.
Hi, I'm Mallory Reesberg. I am one of the other enrichment coaches today.
And Hannah.
Hi everyone, Hannah here. I'm excited that you all were able to make it today, and I will be monitoring the chat box. If you have any questions, feel free to dump them there and I'll be there to help.
All right. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we dive into the session today. We would like for you to just remember to practice good virtual etiquette. Make sure your video is on. This encourages us to promote active engagement. Also, we want to see your lovely faces. Everybody's been practicing social distancing and probably been home, and it's nice to see other people's faces. Also, if you can, minimize your multitasking and external distractions. That will help with getting the best benefit from this session today. Be mindful of your background noise. Right now, everybody is on mute, just to help with that. Also, take advantage of that chat box. Today, you'll definitely get practice in doing the chat box. If you are interested in receiving the DHS credit for participation, there is a link in the chat box. You can go to that link, and that'll take you to a page and you can register. In the future, moving forward, if you're wanting to get that credit, it would be best to pre-register, before the session. And also make sure that your name is displayed correctly, or so that we can give you the full credit for the DHS.
And I'm gonna jump in real quick here. Can you go back to that slide, Teresa?
Yeah.
So there were a couple people that had mentioned in the chat box that they were pretty new to Zoom and they weren't sure exactly how to do something. So if you don't mind changing your name on the display, if you hover over your picture or your name in the video, there should be 3 dots, and if you click rename, if you don't mind changing your name to the first and last name that would be displayed in the DHS registry so that it's easier for us to match attendance and give credit where it's due. And then also along the participant bar at the bottom of your screen, or sometimes it's at the top, there should be a participants button. And if you click that, a pop-up will show of all of the names of people that are in the meeting with us. And there should be a few buttons along the bottom. One of them is a raise hand button. As we're going along, definitely feel free to use the chat box and put any questions in there. Like Hannah said, she's monitoring it, I'm monitoring it. But if you have a question that you think would be beneficial to ask verbally, so maybe we could get a conversation started, feel free to click that raise hand button. And then over in the participant bar, it will have a little icon. And so we will be able to know that thank you, Christina, we'll answer your question in just a second. And so then we'll be able to see who has a question and we can kind of go from there. Let's see, and it seems like Christina had her hand up. Do you have a question? Go ahead and unmute yourself and then ask.
I'm not for sure if I'm doing this right. I've never used Zoom before. I don't know if
We
you
can
guys
hear
can
you.
see me or hear me.
Yep, we can hear
That's
you.
good. I don't know how to do any comments or anything like that because I don't see that on my device.
Okay. Are you? Well, can you hear us and see the screen?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So if you have any other questions or anything, just go ahead and push that raise hand button again. Otherwise, at the bottom of your screen, and this is for everyone, there should be a little button that says chat. That should pop up your
It says what?
chat box. Chat.
It says chat.
And it looks
Oh,
like
I
a
don't
little
have that.
text message.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can pull that up and you'll be able to type. And you can send the message to everyone. You can send it to specific people. So.
Okay. I don't have chat, but okay, let's go.
Okay.
Okay, continue. So an overview of today, the objective is we're going to take a look at family engagement through the eyes of the OST community. And then as us coaches, we're going to assist the community in addressing key areas of concern. For the agenda today, as you see, we have a pretty good filled agenda. We already did the introductions. If you haven't introduced yourself, please shout your name out and organization in the chat box. I'll show a little video clip. That's going to lead us into the first group discussion. And then we're going to talk about 3 key areas of concern, which will lead us into a breakout session. And then from there, we'll come back and have a small group discussion. And then Mallory is going to lead us with strategies for engagement. She's going to lead us that. And then she's going to lead us out of the session with the resource spotlight and wrap up. So as I'm preparing for the next piece, there we go. Okay. This is a small clip from Lilo and Stitch. This is a nice Disney movie if you have not seen it. And this is the part where Stitch finally understands what Ohana, the word Ohana means. Okay. So Ohana, as Stitch put it, means family. Family
Hey,
means
Teresa?
nobody gets, yes.
Pardon my interruption. We didn't have any sound on that clip.
Oh, you did not?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay, my apologies. Let me do a stop share. I am so sorry, folks. Let's do this again. Does that, anybody, can you hear that now?
Oh,
Yep,
Hannah.
that looks good.
Huh?
Hey, get away from her.
No! What did you say?
Ohana means family. Family means nobody
gets left behind.
or forgotten. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that at the beginning. We're learning as we go along as well. So as Stitch said, Ohana. Ohana means family. Oh my. Okay. I'm sorry, folks. Just trying to get back to my presentation here. Oh my. Okay. Means family. No one gets left behind or forgotten. In our communities, we have built relationships with our families. We have built those strong relationships, and we want them to know that we are wanting them not to feel left behind or forgotten. So this leads us into our first session, our first group discussion, and this is what that question is. What does family engagement mean to you? Okay, so we're going to do this one of two ways. You can give your name and your response. So when you give your name, make sure that you state your name. That way we know that you want to take the floor, and then your response. Or you can share out your response in the chat box. So again, what does family engagement mean to you? Why am I not? Hello?
So we're getting some responses in the chat box. We've got family as part of the efforts and solutions. Family engagement means working together. Family engagement, thank you, Tricia, is communication, keeping that line of communication open.
Okay.
Carla says that family engagement means even during this time of COVID-19, reaching out, we're not letting that communication line end. Communication is a theme that's coming through a lot. Working to stay connected any way that you can. That theme of collaboration is starting to come through in the chat box of what does family engagement mean.
Okay. Anybody want to share out? Again, this is the time to share. If you want to, just state your name and go ahead and share out. Okay, we're going to continue on then. And excuse me, my screen keeps going in and out for me here. I don't know what is going on. Okay. Now we're going to talk about 3 key areas of concern. And these areas came up as we sent out the survey earlier, and people had responded, and these were the areas that popped up. Also, I've been involved in some chat rooms, and these were areas that people were talking about, and also on a national level as well. So the first area of concern is academics, the educational piece, the gap. Our children have lost time in their education, and how do we go about getting that back? Or do we even get that back? And then the well-being of the child. And when I'm not talking about just the kids that we have identified in our programs, but now it's all the children that have attended our programs. What's the well-being of the child? How has this situation affected them, and how is it going to affect them in the future? And then the third one was the well-being of the family. And again, not just those families that we identified before this situation, but now it's all our families that have that we serve in our communities. And if we talk about the social economical status of our families, that has changed. I mean, you got people that are not working, people that are working from home, and then you got those people who are the essential workers that are still going out to work, and that dynamics of the family being changed. Another area of concern that popped up was stress, the management of stress, and that's something that we'll actually cover next week in our session. So leading this into our breakout session, I want you to talk about in the breakout session, what are your thoughts? in regards to the 3 areas of concern. And I'm going to do a stop if I can get here. My screen keeps going in and out. I am sorry, folks. So I'm going to put you in breakout sessions, and I want you to think, what are your thoughts in those 3 key areas? So you have academics, you have the well-being of the child, and you have the well-being of the family. Let's see. So go ahead and push join. Hello, those folks that are with me. I have Mindy, Yvette, Allison, Rochelle, is that correct? Rachel and Courtney? You can go ahead and unmute yourselves.
Hi, this is Rachel.
Hi, hi, hi. Allison and Yvette, you can go ahead and unmute if you like. Hi, Mallory.
Hi, can you put me in a different room? I was in a room with Crystal. So we wanted to divide and conquer.
Yes.
And then Crystal wanted to reiterate to you that if you need her to share the screen, just to let her know, like send a message in the chat box or something to her.
Okay, I'll go ahead and put you in room 6. Yeah, it keeps my screen is, yeah. Did it go?
Yep.
Okay. Hello, ladies. I'm sorry about that. So we were talking about what are your thoughts in those 3 areas? Mindy and Rachel, can you hear me? Hello, Mindy and Rachel? Hi, ladies.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, this is Rachel. I can hear you.
Okay. I was asking the question, what were your thoughts on those 3 areas of concern?
Awesome. Sorry, I wanted to apologize. I just joined late and I'm in my car, so my phone wasn't connecting right, so I didn't honestly hear anything. I'm just now being able to hear you.
Okay. We were talking about the 3 areas of concern were academics, well-being of the child, and the well-being of the family.
So during this time of the online learning?
Just anytime. I mean, just now, like anytime.
Yeah. 1 second here.
Hi, Eileen. It's nice to see you.
Hi, I got kicked out.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I was in my chat and nobody could hear me. And then the next thing I know, it just shut down on me. I'm like, oh,
Okay. Well, welcome to our chat room.
thank you.
Yes. So we were talking just about your areas of concern
For academics, family.
and well-being of the child, just your thoughts. And if you cannot hear, or if you can hear me, but you cannot speak, you can also type in the chat box as well. We got a couple more minutes.
Has anyone responded so far?
You can, go ahead.
I would just say the concerns for academics is just that they don't have the support at home at this moment in time. Not everyone has parents that are as involved, care or academically able to be helpful. So kind of makes me worry that they're going to fall behind. So, and for families overall, I just feel like it's scary times. So the unknown.
Yeah, this is Rachel. I agree with Aileen, especially with like the working parents who are also trying to work from home right now. Like they're trying to juggle their own stuff and then let alone teach their kids everything that's going out too. Just makes it really difficult and time's limited, and I mean everyone's just trying to do their best.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you ladies for sharing. Anybody else want to share before we go back to the bigger group?
I was in a breakout session number 7, but they didn't unmute themselves, so I was talking and I don't know if they heard me, and then I chatted to unmute themselves, so that's why I came back.
Okay, no problem. We're, like I said, we're learning this as we go. So
look, I wrote that in the chat to the 2 people who were in my chat group, breakout seven. I said we're all learning, and so it was okay with me, but we didn't get a chat.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close all rooms. Everybody's gonna be coming back. Hello, everyone, as you come back in. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, everyone, as you come back in. Hello, hello.
Yep.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hello. So hopefully you had some time to chat. I know some of you came across some technical difficulties that kicked you out of the chat and brought you back into the main chat room. Is there anybody that wants to share if they were able to talk in their group, maybe a key point or 2 from their group? Maybe want to share an aha moment or even any additional thoughts on those 3 areas of concern. Anybody?
I will.
And I will.
Julie Fetters.
Okay.
We were first talking about the academic portion of the situation at hand, and I shared with Crystal that I had been at our building passing out devices yesterday to all the families that showed up, and I told her that some of the kids seemed completely thrilled and excited to be able to get their hands on their computer and get home and start, joining in on all of the activities. But then again, there were those that really weren't happy about it at all. And yeah, I kind of think that the summer slide that we're always so worried about during our summer programming will probably start really early this year. And I think it'll probably slide further than normal with the extra 2-3 months that the kids are going to have away from daily structured instructional pieces. So I know I sit in on a lot of the teachers' team meetings with their kids just so that selfishly, so I can make eye contact and face-to-face with the students. But they are, when they're in there, they're all involved and they're all engaged. But I think it's a little more on the social aspect of things. They're so happy to see their classmates and to see their teacher. But as far as the actual academic portions go, that kind of gets on the back burner. You know, and the teachers are trying and doing the best they can. And maybe next week when they get everybody online and everybody's hooked up and they can all come in and join their classrooms, maybe the teachers will have a better opportunity then to try and do things a little more structured. And I know it's voluntary. I know that the kids are not required to do it and the parents aren't required to make them do it. But hopefully when everybody is there and they're feeling like they're back with all of their friends, maybe their attitudes will change a little. I don't know. Or maybe when the new wears off, they'll want to, you know, actually make it feel a little more school-like as opposed to just hanging out and chatting with their friends, you know?
Right, exactly. Anybody else want to share? I'll take one more person and then we need to move on.
I'll jump in there. Our group really kind of highlighted that, and I think there was a great word used in there of trauma. I know, you know, it kind of went along with what Julie was saying, that there's these students. I mean, my stepdaughter is high achieving, and yet I fear she's going to fall behind, in fact, because she doesn't have those challenges of the education aspect. Because, you know, I'm busy with work, my wife is busy with work, but she's not an educator, and it's different learning from your own parents. And so there's trauma involved for these students coming back once life gets back to normal, knock on wood. But also maybe looking at the bright side, the glass half full piece, maybe this will help the parents engage more with us from an educator standpoint as teachers, because they see firsthand how challenging it can be, difficult and necessary it is. And maybe that'll start to draw a little empathy out of some of these parents. I mean, you've all seen that little fun GIF out there that's like, teacher, whatever you need next year, 7 bottles of vodka, I don't care, you know, new heart, you put it down and we're going to buy it for you next year. No,
right, exactly.
Boxes of crayons you need. And I think there's going to be some truth to that.
Okay. Thank you too for sharing. Thank you. And thank you all for sharing in the chat rooms. We're going to go ahead and continue. So with that, areas of concern, so now that takes us to the next question that I have. And the next question that I have is, what can you do at your capacity right now? And let me explain what I mean by capacity. When I talk about capacity, I'm talking about your access to resources. So the first access would probably be human resources. What type of employees do you have right now? I know a lot of us are not working at full capacity like we would like, but looking at the ones that are working, how can you utilize them? The second piece would be monetary or materials resources. If you're looking to put packets together, are we able to do that? If you're looking to put kits together with supplies or materials in that kits, in those kits, are we able to do that as well? And then the last thing is technology. And that's, you know, looking at that resource of, okay, the people that are working from home, are they using computers? Are they using their phone? What platforms are we using? Are we utilizing all the platforms that we have, like our Facebook page, Twitter? Are we doing Instagram? I mean, is there other things that we could be doing as far as the technology? So what I would like for folks to do with this particular question, what can you do at your capacity? And I'm talking right now, is go ahead and share out your responses in the chat box. So I'll make my screen a little bit smaller so people can see. So again, what can you do at your capacity right now? Go ahead and share out your responses in the chat box. Give you a couple of moments to do that. Okay. I see that people are flexible with their expenses. Posting on Facebook pages to your families, using those technology, using your social media, utilizing that as well. All right. Using Zoom and Google Hangouts, yes. Nice one, especially those kids that you know love to see your face. You know, they probably light up as soon as you're like, oh, I'm getting on with Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so. Yes, yes. And then they're lighting up as you're having those conversations with them. Okay, go ahead and continue to share out your responses in the chat box. We're actually going to continue to move on. I am now going to turn this over to Mallory so that she can talk about strategies for engagement. The floor is yours, Mallory.
Let's see. Hello, everyone. So let me share my screen with you real quick. All right, so can everyone see the slide that says strategies on it? Perfect. So there are a few different ways. I wanted to bring a couple things to attention, and then I pose some questions for you to think about internally, and then hopefully we have some time that we'll be able to jump into a breakout session and have a little small group discussion. Looking at some of the comments through the chat box, there were a lot that were about communication, scheduling things in, making it more of an accessible event. So instead of adding something to the schedule, making it more as a desirable or something that they actually need and want. So there's a few different ways we can think about some strategies for maintaining these relationships with our families and with our kids and the schools and the teachers that we work with, since we know that one of our big concerns is, what is it going to look like when our new normal gets here? What is next school year going to look like? How are we going to move forward from where we're at? And so one of the strategies that we have found very helpful with engaging families is making it a whole family affair. So we know that you might be working with elementary aged or middle school age kids in our school time environment, but we know that right now we have to market it to the whole family. We know that we're all in this together, and so we have to make sure that whatever we're targeting for elementary or middle school or teens, that we are being inclusive of everyone so that they're more likely to be engaged in what we're trying to do if they have siblings that can be part of it, or if you're getting parents engaged, if you're getting neighborhoods to do it virtually, or if you're being able to connect with other groups online. Making it a whole family affair or making it inclusive is really helpful. So just some questions that you can think about to see if you have any ideas that stem from it. So is everyone being engaged simultaneously? Is this like a one event where everyone is doing it at the same time, kind of like this Zoom meeting? Or is there a cooperative effort? Is it something that can be done over time, but you don't necessarily have to do it at the exact same time? Maybe it's just you're trying to tick a box on a reading bingo sheet and you have the whole day to get it done or something like that. is there a way that you can incorporate some friendly competition? We know that a lot of friendly competition can really help, especially if you are looking at trying to engage a whole group. Sometimes you can, I've seen some where the first 50 to respond to this get, you know, a virtual sticker or something. And I wouldn't think that a virtual sticker would be something really cool, but kids really enjoy them. So just little things like that that are silly really can get people going. The other big thing is to build it in as a norm, make it a regular event. This doesn't mean it has to be like a daily event or a weekly event. It could be once a month, it could be once a quarter, but doing something where you're planning it so that you can easily communicate when the date and time is for parents and other family members. We know that right now, everyone is just getting inundated with resources, ideas, questions, concerns. I mean, I know I'm having that, and I have a 14-month-old daughter and she doesn't even go to school. So I can't imagine what school-age children and families are dealing with. And so making something where it's a regular event, it's easy to communicate, you can get notice out ahead of time. Some questions to consider: is there something that you can piggyback on? So instead of recreating the wheel, you can already jump in on something that's already committed. So one of the things that I've heard is when they're doing meal deliveries, sometimes they'll go and do the packet pickups or packet deliveries during that time. Or that might be a good time to go and like wave at families if you're trying to show face and have that connection. Then also thinking about, are you being intentional about this? Or are you doing this because it's adding value to what needs to be done? Or are you doing this because it's another item to check off the list? Are you being intentional about when you're doing these events or offering them? Are you taking into consideration different family obligations? I know we talked about sometimes doing things in the evenings or on weekends when families might have more flexibility with getting out and doing things. And then a big thing is always to incorporate a purpose. So we want to be intentional about why we are engaging, not just about how we are engaging. Some things to think about is if there's some kind of takeaway, whether that's like a virtual prize, whether that's they actually get like a book that after they've picked up their meals, they get to take it with them. Is it whatever that might look like for your event, family engagement activity, have something so that it can be a reminder so that people are more likely to participate in it, and it'll bring back that moment so that they can talk with their families more and reminisce about it. And then it just opens up some communication for the future. So before I'm going to stop sharing my screen real quick. Before we jump into breakout sessions, does anyone have any questions about anything? Feel free to use that raise your hand button or just unmute yourself, or any thoughts. You can also keep sharing in the chat box.
I don't see any hand raised right now, Mallory.
Okay, then Teresa, I'm passing the reins back over to you.
Okay. Right, we'll go ahead and start the rooms again. Hello, hello, everyone.
Hello.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
My computer almost always dies about 45 minutes into it, so.
Okay.
Join.
All right.
Is there on the table?
Yes, the question is how do you go about adapting what she just said about the norms and how to participate into your program. And I'm going to quickly just kind of do a share screen. That way you guys kind of see. Yeah, so how can you adapt like the whole family affair, building norms and like having a purpose into the current situation right now?
Every week I've been getting some crafts together and sending them to all of my students in the mail.
Okay.
Starting to get a little costly, but I've had some parents or friends of mine donate stamps. But this Friday, when I hand out food at the meal sites, I have pre-made like 50 envelopes with crafts to just also hand out to the cars when they come by. Just one more way to connect, I guess you could say, with my kids. Make sure they're still having fun if I can.
Has anybody created like a story time where you're just reading a story once a week at a certain time, certain day?
I've wanted to do something like that, but I don't know how yet. Like whether it be Zoom, Teams, I don't know. I was trying to talk with a couple of my school teacher friends that are already doing stuff to see if I could sit in or they could show me how they connect with the kids.
How about you, Carla? I know you work with the schools.
I went to, I was at Harding yesterday, 2 different times. I was there at the lunch distribution, and I was there when they gave the computers away at Harding. So I just waved at kids and talked to them, and I'm like, if you need anything, they're like, Miss Carla, we got your number. I'm like, okay, don't be giving it out. No. But,
okay.
Because I work with like altogether probably 80 kids, so they probably all got my number. They'd be sharing it. But I did do drive-bys yesterday, which was really lovely for me because I saw 9 kids who, you know, I'm just worried about, you know, I want to see their faces and see how they react when they see me. You know, because I can tell by their faces if something isn't good or, you know. So, and the little girl she had a need. So I came back home and I sent the email to the admin at North High School. A little girl needed a hotspot because there's 5 kids in their family. So 2 in high school, 2 in middle school, and 1 in elementary. So you need maybe 3 hotspots, but so that was good, and I got replies back from the admin at North High, so that was good.
Good.
So 1 answer to 1 question. God knows how many questions are out there. Just not
yeah. But
yeah, I'm much more face-to-face kind of person. But as soon as they see me, they want to run to the car. I'm like, do not run up on the car. and then I throw mints because I'm the mint lady. And I throw mints, so that puts them back a little bit. I'm like, you can't run up on the car. I said, I don't know if you're sick, and you don't know if I'm sick, and I love you enough not to make you sick. So then they get it, because I don't work with any elementary kids. I work with middle school and high school. And then they get it. I'm like, I don't want any of you not to come back when we go back to school.
I like that throwing candy in the car idea.
Girl, I be throwing mints on they're like, Miss Carla, stop throwing the mints. I'm like, whatever. I see you picking them up.
I like that idea.
That's actually a nice idea. I just thought it like a parade or something, and you're throwing candy out, or maybe pencils or something out at the kids.
Every single day I hand out mints. I have a budget just for mints. My boss is like, Carla, maybe you need a budget for mints. I give out a lot of mints, usually 1 or 2 at a time, but in a day that can be a lot of mints.
I like it.
How about you, Courtney or Rachel?
Yeah, I definitely haven't even thought about doing the reading stuff. This is still my first year into this position, so I'm trying to just take everything with a grain of salt and just learn as we go. But and I'm not super crafty. Unfortunately, Aileen's got that, so I try to learn from her all the time. I'm like, ooh,
I don't mind sharing, girl.
I know you're good. You're so good at that. But no, I'm just, yeah, right now, just trying to keep checking in with the families, making sure they're doing okay. And I mean, it'd be nice if they could get into a routine at home too. But I mean, you have all those other factors, like if they have an older sibling that can kind of just lead their day if the parents working, that'd be nice. So kind of just stay on track with the school schedule as much as possible. So
yeah,
if and when we ever start again, they'll be ready for it.
Mm-hmm. Courtney, did you want to jump in?
I am actually just kind of learning this position. I'm in the process of moving over to a before and after school care. So I haven't really been in the position when it's up and running normally. So I'm just kind of listening and trying to get ideas of what I can kind of learn during this and kind of help in the future.
Okay. We got about another minute.
Well, I really like that candy idea, so thank you for that. I didn't even think about that.
That's a nice one.
I got some suckers left over I don't need.
I also had, when I went in the afternoon, I also threw out fruit roll-ups, fruit by the foot. So, but mints are my signature. So kids are like, Miss Carla, I'm like, what? They're like, do you have mints? I'm like, what's the magic? And then they say, please. I'm like, yeah, magic words are magic. Even during COVID, magic words are always going to be magic.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's fun. You're fun.
Hello, everyone.
I bring my fun with me wherever I go.
I like it. It's awesome.
I like that. Yeah. And actually, Carla, I'm going to share that in just a few moments when people start coming in. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone.
Okay.
Hello, we got everyone coming back.
I'm here.
Valerie, did you want to continue?
Is there any, we had some pretty good discussions in my group. I would be interested to hear from one person, or if you could sum up some different things that you might have talked about, and feel free to put them in the chat box. Otherwise, I just want to be good stewards of our time. So that's, I'll pass the reins back over.
All right. All right. Well, I do want to share something before we close out. In the group that I was in, we had Carla Dawson, who shared one of the things that she does with her students that she sees. She goes out to some of the sites that are passing out the meals, and she's considered as the mint lady. So she will pass out mints from her car to the kids that she sees and that she works with.
I throw the mints out. I don't pass them out because I don't want to.
She throws them out.
I throw them out onto the grass.
Yes.
Where's her picture? I don't see her.
It's like being in the parade when they're throwing out the candy on the parade. Yeah, that's what she does. Yes, that's what she does.
It's funny.
Okay, moving forward, just to coming to a close here. Like we said, we don't want to take up more of your time. Whoop. I'm sorry. Thought I had.
This has been a learning experience for my first time.
It has, and it's been a learning experience for us as well. The last piece of our sessions, and this will be something that we will do over and over again, this is for every session, is that if you have a great resource or tool or any type of tricks to share, we're going to take, a minute to share with the CIOST network. And what we're going to do today, due to time, is that if you could just leave the link or any information in the chat box, that would greatly be appreciated. And what we'll do as coaches is we'll get together and we will compile a list, and then we will send that out to everyone who's participated today. So if you have a resource to share today, you can go ahead and share that in the chat box. That would be greatly appreciated. Another thing that we're going to share out in the chat box today is that we, at the end of this, we have a survey we would like for you to do. Crystal will put that link in the chat box, so be looking for that link. We'll also send it out after either the end of today or tomorrow so that you can take that survey. I also want to say join us next week for our CIOST Re-Imagined. That's Thursday, April 30th at 1 p.m. We are going to discuss stress management, and we actually have a guest speaker for that particular session.
Is that on the training registry?
Yes, it is.
And what's it called again?
Stress management. It's just straight stress management.
And what day is that?
April 30th. It's Thursday at 1 o'clock.
1.
Yep.
Okay. I'll sign up for it then.
And I could actually put that back on the screen so that people can see that. I'll just minimize my screen. That way folks can see that. So just to do a recap of what the session was today, we discussed, kind of put some meaning behind what family engagement was, discussed some areas of concern. We discussed academics, the well-being of the child, and the well-being of the family. And then we went into what can you do at your capacity? And we're talking about right now, what is it that you could do at your capacity? And then we left you with some strategies that you can use for engagement. I want to say thank you for your time. If you do have any questions, you can stay and ask those questions. We'll be here a little while longer. If not, enjoy your Thursday afternoon. Thank you for coming to the CIOST Re-Imagined today.
Thank you, Teresa.
Yep.
I like your doinks on your hair.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Yep. Have a nice day, everyone.
I got to go do another training. Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I came on earlier and you were saying the link to register was in the chat box, I think.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Will the certificates be mailed to us or will they be sent through email?
I'm sorry, what was that question?
Will our certificates be emailed to us or will they just show up online?
This is Brittany.
They should be sent to your email.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
but I need to know if you need a certificate or not, because DHS has told me that certificates are not required, but if you need them for your specific organization, I will send them to you, but it's not something we do automatically anymore. So Christina, do you need one?
I do, yes.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes.
I'll be sure to add that verbiage to next week's invitation to Brittany, that if they need a certificate, they'll also need to let us know that.
That sounds great.
Okay. Thank you, Rebecca. We got your message.
I have to run. I have another meeting at 2. Is there anything before we wrap up?
No.
Okay. See you.
I'm okay.
I'll email everybody. I also have a 2 o'clock. I'll email everybody the attendance list that I took, as well as a few pointers, because my tire appointment has changed tomorrow, and I can't imagine I'll be able to do the debriefing. So.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Yep. So do you need me to do anything, save anything?
You need to stop recording.
Okay.